I just woke up, and there were 10 stunning women rushing towards me. Their martial arts skills are exceptional, and their beauty is unparalleled. All of them are the renowned 10 saints of the empire. Moreover, the dowry is not the only thing they offer. Hundreds of rare treasures are also presented in reverse. Their goal is to win the title of the rightful wife and shake the entire continent. Unfortunately, I am considered a worthless person in the eyes of the world. This perception changed only because I accidentally activated the dream bead. This magical bead allows me to dream for thousands of years, and whatever I dream becomes a reality upon waking up. Currently, I am suffering from the public rejection of my fiancé, Lu Shiyu. However, it caught the attention of the heavenly fox holy girl, who came forward with a proposal. In the endless tomb, everyone was amazed by her immense strength. Subsequently, she had to confront me in front of everyone, and the sorceress released me. Suddenly, a cold voice echoed from the sky, sending shivers down everyone's spine. Following the sound, I saw a girl with blue hair walking slowly. She exuded a pure and icy aura, and her snow-white legs were straight and graceful, leaving frosty footprints with each step. People around us gazed at me with envy, as yet another stunning beauty arrived unexpectedly. I have no idea how this coincidence led to the rivalry between two extraordinary women. The guests shifted their attention to Lu Shiyu, who was kneeling on the ground. Once the proud daughter of Tianji in Xinyu City, she now knelt in humiliation, unable to rise. Tianyu Saint Yuxia glanced at her disdainfully and tightened her grip on me instead of letting go. The blue-haired woman raised an eyebrow, her eyes shining with a faint blue light, and the temperature inside the restaurant dropped again. Everyone trembled involuntarily, including the great elder of the Yunshan sect, who couldn't contain his shivers. He had a hunch about the woman's identity, which could not be underestimated. The holy daughter of Tianyu, most likely also a saint, with such powerful frost abilities. The great elder suddenly realized something and exclaimed inwardly, that Summer Wind was nothing more than a useless person. How did he manage to attract the attention of two exceptional women? "You Sha, don't test my patience," the short-haired woman spoke with an icy tone. Yu Sha bid her farewell with a playful smile, saying things as if she could defeat her. The blue-haired woman's eyebrow furrowed, causing the temperature to drop even further. "Do you want to try?" she challenged. At this moment, I was utterly embarrassed and wished I could disappear. Fortunately, someone intervened and interrupted the confrontation between the two women, urging them to speak peacefully. Yu Sha held my hand again and obediently said, "If my husband doesn't like it, then I won't fight." Witnessing this, the blue-haired woman's eyes turned cold. In an instant, she appeared on my other side, wrapping her arms around my other arm, and giving a fierce glare to Yu Sha. "He is my husband too," she stated, both possessive and soft-spoken. Stiff as a statue, I stood there without daring to move. The guests couldn't help but gawk at the scene. Whether it was Yu Sha or the other woman, they were both stunning beauties. Now, one stood on my left and the other on my right, each claiming a hold on my arm. The impact on them was enormous. Yu Sha spoke again, "My husband just promised to marry me." "You're too late." I looked at Yu Sha in confusion, wondering when I agreed to marry her. Disapprovingly, the blue-haired woman remarked, "How could my husband make such a promise to you? He must be a great liar. Besides, it doesn't matter if my husband agrees, I took him for myself." "Who are you?" The man who had just withdrawn from his engagement and the two women, each displaying their strength, caused Lu Shi's heart to break. Overwhelmed with humiliation, she rose from her kneeling position, unleashing a hysterical roar filled with resentment and anger. Summer Breeze was nothing more than a worthless person I rejected. What does he have that makes you fight for him so fiercely? The great elder of the Yunshan sect looked up, then quickly knelt down and moved several steps aside. "This idiot wants to die, but he won't drag me down. I am a ninefold martial arts powerhouse of Heavenly Street," he thought to himself, feeling relieved that he didn't have to bear the consequences of Summer Breeze's actions. "You have no right to make any decisions," the great elder muttered under his breath, still kneeling on the ground, not daring to utter a word. Yu Sha turned her head angrily and directed her gaze at Lu Shiyu, who was oppressed by the overwhelming pressure and knelt down once again. Even the Lanfa woman, using her literary language, turned her attention to Lu Shiyu, her eyebrows slightly furrowed. She greeted Lu Shiyu coldly, and the latter struggled to raise her head. Before she could say anything, she saw that the woman showed no remorse. A surge of frost power emanated from beneath Lu Shiyu's feet, freezing her entire body in place. Xiao Yu, Lu Tianqiang, and his wife rushed over desperately, their hands touching the frost. They felt a penetrating coldness that seemed to pierce their skin, causing them to recoil. Lu Mu turned her head to confront the woman, crying out in defense of the girl. Even if you like summer breeze, there's no need to treat my Xiao Yu like this. This relationship involves two people in love. My Xiao Yu doesn't like summer breeze. Why force them to marry? It's better to stay unmarried. The blue-haired woman responded calmly, that's fine. But from what I know, my father-in-law and Uncle Sha came to withdraw from the marriage willingly. However, you refused. And now, just a few days later, you publicly humiliated my husband and his family at this engagement banquet. This is a deliberate attempt to shame my husband's future family. How can I let it go? All this information had been gleaned from his dreams. He had also inquired about the situation upon his arrival, and everything that unfolded matched exactly with his dreams. As Summer Breeze's future wife, it was natural for him to stand up for his husband. The guests whispered among themselves, criticizing the Lu family for their lack of integrity. It seemed that the Sha family had saved the Lu family's reputation. Lu Tianqiang and his wife wore extremely embarrassed expressions as they continued to plead softly, hoping for some leniency. Xiao Yu is the least likely to harm anyone, they pleaded. Please, show your generosity and let him go. He's just a blind fool who doesn't even deserve to die by my hands, the blue-haired woman responded nonchalantly. I simply taught him a small lesson. Hearing this, a slight twitch appeared at the corners of everyone's mouths. These two beauties were truly more domineering than anyone could imagine. As for the man kneeling at the side, the blue-haired woman noticed him and couldn't help but feel a little surprised. The great elder hurriedly smiled and introduced himself, I am the great elder of Yunshan. Upon hearing this, the blue-haired woman suddenly realized, so, you are the great elder of Yunshan. The great elder, sensing a friendly connection, nodded repeatedly, wanting to align himself with the woman. However, the tone of the blue-haired woman changed, and she spoke lightly, if my husband angers you as well, great elder of the Yunshan sect, I can easily handle it. The great elder of the Yunshan sect immediately assumed a subordinate position, ready to defend Summer Breeze, but before he could speak, a wave of frost power spread from under his feet, turning him into an ice sculpture in the blink of an eye. Everyone present gasped in awe. This was a true display of the blue-haired woman's strength as a ninefold heavenly order martial sect powerhouse. The invincible great elder had been frozen with a mere wave of her hand. The woman's divine power left everyone bewildered. She was about the same age as the Holy Lady of Tianyu, yet her strength was equally terrifying. The onlookers couldn't help but wonder who she truly was. Do it, the blue-haired woman commanded, turning to the demon beside her. The delicate face of the demon girl lit up with anticipation. In just a moment, the admiration for the invincible great elder transformed into anticipation, as if she was a love-struck girl receiving compliments. The contrast before and after was striking, and everyone watching couldn't help but be amazed. I nodded and agreed with a calm expression. Yu Sha tightly held one of my hands and pouted, saying, proudly, my husband thinks he's powerful. At the same time, the blue-haired woman glanced at Yu Sha disdainfully and firmly clasped my other hand. I stood there stiffly, not daring to move. The guests' eyes widened in astonishment. Both Yu Sha and the blue-haired woman were breathtaking beauties, and now they had each taken hold of one of my arms. The impact was immense, leaving everyone in awe. At that moment, the blue-haired woman looked at Yu Sha and said with a touch of arrogance, you're late. Shanggong had just promised to marry me. Yu Sha responded seriously, I was wondering when I had agreed to marry you. Disapprovingly, the blue-haired woman replied, how could my husband make such a promise to you? He must be a great liar. Besides, it doesn't matter if my husband agrees, I claimed him for myself. Who are you? This encounter left me in an embarrassing and bewildering state. The interruption from the timely voice brought the confrontation between the two women to a halt. Please, let them speak. Let's maintain peace, the voice suggested. Yu Sha took my hand again and obediently said, if my husband doesn't like it, then I won't fight. Observing this, the blue-haired woman's eyes turned cold. In a flash, she appeared on the other side of me, wrapping her arms around my other arm. Simultaneously, she stared fiercely at the demon girl with fish-like eyes. "He's my husband," she declared. "He's mine too," responded the demon girl. The situation became a strange but unique experience for me. I stood there, stiff and motionless, as the guests' eyes were fixated on the unusual scene before them. Both Yu Sha and the blue-haired woman were extraordinary beauties, and now they were holding onto me from both sides. The impact of this sight was simply overwhelming. As the voice echoed through the restaurant, all eyes turned towards the entrance. A man with a dignified aura and an imposing presence walked in. He was none other than the sect master of Yunshan, the renowned martial sect. The guests in the restaurant couldn't help but feel a sense of reverence and awe in the presence of such a distinguished figure. The sect master of Yunshan approached the blue-haired woman, Lin Wanqing, and greeted her respectfully. "Sect master of Yunshan, Yunshan, has come to meet the holy daughter of Tianyu." His voice carried a hint of deference and admiration. Lin Wanqing acknowledged the greeting with a nod and turned to face the sect master. There was a brief moment of silence as their gazes locked, seemingly exchanging unspoken messages. The atmosphere in the room grew tense, and everyone held their breath, waiting for what would unfold between these two powerful figures. Finally, Lin Wanqing spoke, her voice calm but commanding. "Sect Master Yunshan, your arrival is most welcome. Please join us." She gestured toward the empty seat next to her, indicating that he should take a seat at their table. The sect master of Yunshan hesitated for a moment, his expression betraying a mixture of surprise and curiosity. He then nodded and took his seat, the guests in the restaurant observing the scene with rapt attention. The presence of the sect master of Yunshan added an even greater weight to the already intense atmosphere. The guests couldn't help but speculate about the significance of this encounter between the holy daughter of Tianyu and the esteemed sect master. As the conversation continued, the dynamics between the three powerful figures became more intriguing. Their words carried an air of mystery, and it was evident that there were deeper motivations and hidden agendas at play. The guests watched in anticipation, eager to unravel the secrets behind this extraordinary gathering. Meanwhile, I found myself caught in the embrace of Yu Sha and Lin Wanqing, unable to extricate myself from their affectionate hold. Their voices, though sweet and gentle, seemed to be at odds with the confusion and turmoil in my mind. I resigned myself to the situation, deciding to embrace the moment and enjoy their company, despite the complexity surrounding it. In the background, my parents engaged in a hushed conversation, their voices tinged with uncertainty and skepticism. They pondered the true intentions of the two holy women and questioned the value of their family in the grand scheme of things. Their words echoed in my ears, further heightening my sense of unease. The situation seemed to escalate as Yu Sha and Lin Wanqing engaged in a playful argument, their voices overlapping in a melodic chorus. Their affectionate yet competitive display left me feeling increasingly awkward and trapped in the middle. Just as the tension threatened to overwhelm me, the deep voice of the sect master of Yunshan resonated through the restaurant once again, momentarily capturing everyone's attention. The presence of such a respected figure added another layer of intrigue and uncertainty to the already complex situation. The story was unfolding in unexpected ways, and I couldn't help but wonder what would happen next. The convergence of these powerful individuals from different factions and their intricate connections promised a thrilling and unpredictable journey ahead.